Good evening and welcome to the special edition of Worcester News Tonight. I'm Olivia Lemon, and tonight we are taking a look back at some of the biggest stories we covered in 2018. The Pawtucket Red Sox officially announced in August they are coming to Worcester. The team expects to start playing in the city in 2021, but as our Cam Jandro explains, before the team comes, a lot of construction and revitalization will be done to the Canal District area.
It was a rumor for more than a year.
We're continuing to make our case, and we think we've got a great community to offer them with a lot of great assets.
In August, it became a reality.
I am excited and pleased to announce that the AAA affiliate of the Boston Red Sox will be coming to the city of Worcester.
The Pawtucket Red Sox are leaving McCoy Stadium to play in a brand new ballpark in Worcester.
Major League Baseball gave its permission to build a park in the Canal District, downtown Worcester. So it is now official.
The Paw Sox will be ending a near 50-year relationship with the state of Rhode Island and have started a new one with the city of Worcester.
This is a milestone for Worcester, unlike anything we've ever seen before. It has already brought unprecedented levels of enthusiasm and excitement.
This is just the beginning of what we expect to be a great economic revitalization and development program.
A new ballpark will be built, as well as more than $90 million in additional investments planned around it. 2 hotels, 250 housing units, and 65,000 square feet of retail space are set to be built in the old Wyman-Gordon parcel on Madison Street. The plan also comes with a complete redesign of the city's best-known intersection.
The one that we need to really focus on is the fix to Kelly Square. And so we are going to take that project and put it on that fast track and scope it and design it.
The city is aiming for July 2019 to break ground on what will be known as Polar Park. The design process is now in full gear. Boston's AAA affiliate wants the stadium to be a representation of their new home.
The embrace has been extraordinary. Well, isn't step one of thank you to listen to what people want in their ballpark? It's their ballpark.
The team will still play baseball in Pawtucket for the next 2 seasons, but for the city of Worcester, things are moving a lot faster following their announcement in August.
We've got a lot of things, announced and underway, but now we have to execute. We have to get the design of the ballpark done. We have to break ground and begin the site preparations for the ballpark and the development across the street.
We need 50% of the ballpark built by January 2020. So it's only a year. If it snows a lot, it puts you behind a little bit. So I think everything we get done quickly will be better.
Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
The team also announced this fall at a grand and glorious civic celebration it had received all of its needed approvals to move to Worcester, including one from Major League Baseball. 2018 brought big changes in the marijuana industry in central Massachusetts. Voters approved recreational marijuana in 2016, and this past year, multiple retail shops opened across the state, including one in Worcester County. As our Brittany Schaefer explains, the industry will only continue to grow in the new year.
2 years after voters supported legalizing recreational marijuana, the state's first retail shops opened in November. Cultivate in Leicester, marking a milestone in the region.
This is a very historic moment for the state of Massachusetts.
Thousands waited hours on opening day to be a part of history.
A long fight, and I'm happy to see the day come. I guess it's worth the rain. We're New Englanders, so we don't really mind.
As a citizen here, I'm really excited to be exercising my rights. I went out and voted the other day, buying pot today.
Bought an eighth of moonshine haze and a pre-roll of some Seattle soda. I don't know. I've never heard it, so I'm ready to try it.
The crowds created a lot of traffic for the central Massachusetts town. For those who live in the area, the first couple of weeks were a problem.
Oh, it's been a nightmare. I mean, I'm talking hundreds of cars a day. I can't even get out of my driveway.
I've checked people that are urinating out of my front yard.
The number of cars that we saw far exceeded anything that we had expected. Route 9 does not have the capacity to handle the traffic.
And while Cultivate was the only recreational marijuana shop to open in Worcester County in 2018, many more, including 5 shops in Worcester, are in the process of gaining a retail license. The city has entered host agreements with the shops and has said it's a long and thorough process.
So we look at location. We looked at their actual ability to execute on the establishment. This is not an easy industry to become involved in. They still need to go before the planning board for a special permit. Most importantly, they need to have approval from the Cannabis Control Commission, which is a state agency, that's really intensive for them as well.
The Cannabis Control Commission is bringing its headquarters to the city. They announced they'll be making Union Station their home next summer or fall.
It's certainly been a whirlwind of a year. We started off at Ashburton when the 5 commissioners were appointed. We then moved over down to Federal Street, and now we're moving to Worcester. So everyone is just sort of excited to get settled. We want to make sure that people who come from the western part of the state or the central part of the state want to be a part of this commission and not make it as much of an eastern organization as some other agencies are.
Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
It's been 3 weeks since a Worcester firefighter was tragically killed in a house fire. Christopher Roy served on the department for a little over 2 years and leaves behind his young daughter. As our Rosalind Flaherty explains, thousands from all over came together to honor his life.
Worcester firefighter Christopher Roy is remembered as a great person and loving father.
Ava, you were in your father's world. He moved heaven and earth to give you the best life possible that you deserved. He is so proud of you and will continue to be.
The 36-year-old died in December while battling a 5-alarm fire at this Lowell Street apartment home. Roy was among a group of firefighters trapped on the 2nd floor.
Every person on the fire ground gave 110% to try and rescue the firefighters who were in danger.
Roy leaves behind his young daughter, Ava. The 2.5-year veteran of the department served on Ladder 4 at the Webster Square Fire Station. People from all over came to pay their respects.
All Worcester's hurting today. Our hearts are breaking.
The Worcester Fire Department is left with heavy hearts once again. Roy's death comes 1 day after the 7-year anniversary of Worcester firefighter John Davies' death, and 19 years since 6 Worcester firefighters died battling the cold storage warehouse fire.
We've had enough. We don't need any more firefighters to pass.
A powerful moment at his funeral as fire departments from across the country came to support their fellow brothers. Area fire departments gave Worcester's firefighters a chance to mourn. They covered all of the city's firehouses before and after the funeral.
We know that the Worcester Fire Department and the City of Worcester would do this for any community across this Commonwealth.
The Worcester Fire Department said their final goodbyes before he was laid to rest at Notre Dame Cemetery.
Even though his life was cut way too short, he will always be with us in our hearts and looking down on us with his infectious smile.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
With 2 new airlines and 3 new destinations, the Worcester Regional Airport is working to bring residents near and far. Massport says studies show in the next 10 years, close to $370 million of economic activity will come out of the airport.
It was a busy year for the Worcester Regional Airport. 2 new flight destinations took off, and Massport announced another new airline is on its way.
The demand grows at all the airports, and aviation travel is growing both on the commercial side and general aviation side, so we've got room to grow here.
JetBlue added a flight to New York City in May. The airline already had daily service to Orlando and Fort Lauderdale. Massport said it opens up Worcester to the world.
There's so much to do, so your options are limitless.
American Airlines announced in April they would be flying out of the Worcester Regional Airport with flights to Philadelphia.
An ability for people to fly to Philadelphia and connect to 117 destinations from that airport really shows that Worcester is connecting to cities and places around the world.
And a third major airline and destination was announced in August. Delta is expected to start flights to Detroit in the summer of 2019. State and city leaders said all are signs of the direction Worcester is moving.
Now to connect to Detroit, that takes them to markets in Asia, to Canada, and to other places further west in our country.
Congressman Jim McGovern has long advocated for the airport's growth and remembered a time people
gave up hope.
A lot of people who said, let's turn it into a casino, let's turn it into housing development, let's demolish it. And I'm glad those naysayers didn't prevail.
Massport has invested more than $100 million into the airport in the past 10 years with a Category 3 landing system and infrastructure and runway improvements. In August, Chairman Lou Evangelidis said the improvements Massport has made are bringing more momentum and opportunities to Worcester.
We've had studies that show over $369 million in economic activity will come out of this airport in the next 10 years.
And Massport CEO Thomas Glynn announced earlier this year he was retiring after 6 years with the organization. Massport's Chief Financial Officer John Prankovicius from Worcester is now the interim CEO. Still to come on Worcester News tonight, after years of trying to save a historic building, the Save Notre Dame Alliance loses its battle. Plus, storm damage across central Massachusetts after a crazy year of storms and tornadoes.
Finding Neverland, the Broadway smash that NPR calls the best musical of the year.
At the Hanover Theater in Worcester, January 2nd through the 6th. Visit thehanovertheater.org.
Our hearts are heavy as we remember the life of firefighter Christopher Roy. Chris was an outstanding member of the Worcester Fire Department, and we miss him terribly. We are grateful for your kind words of comfort during this very difficult time. Everyone has been asking, how can we help? A fund has been established for his daughter Ava. If you're interested in donating to the Ava Roy Fund, your check can be mailed to the address at the bottom of the screen. Thank you very much.
During the holiday season, many people notice the impact hearing loss has on our ability to interact and stay part of the conversation. While new hearing loss treatment options are both affordable and effective, treatment can improve quality of life, increase cognitive function, decrease the risk of dementia, and slow the progression of dementia and Alzheimer's. This holiday season, get a free copy of my bestseller, Stop Living in Isolation, for you or a loved one.
Is my car in the driveway? Did I drive home drunk last night? I don't even remember getting in the car.
My son looked high again last night. I've tried to talk to him, but he won't listen. I'm worried, and I just don't know what to do.
Could alcohol or drugs be impacting you or a member of your family? Call the compassionate team at AdCare at 1-800-ALCOHOL and begin your path to recovery.
Little work, a lot of golf, right, guys?
Hey, speaking of work, I've settled a ton of accident cases. Cheap.
Not me. I've got a big case with a big problem.
Come on, you give injured people a little money, they'll go away happy.
They've got a lawyer.
Yeah, who is it?
Joseph J. Coriglia.
I hate those guys.
Don't stand alone against the big insurance companies. Call the law offices of Joseph J. Coriglia, where you pay a lawyer only if you collect money.
Calling all foodies. The best chefs in the region want your vote. Taste your way through the most wonderful culinary creations and vote your palate at the 12th annual Worcester's Best Chef Competition, featuring the best chefs in the region, beer and wine tastings, a special VIP room, and exciting culinary cook-offs. It's the greatest culinary competition in the region and an unforgettable night of food and fun. Vote your palate and decide who will be Worcester's Best Chef. Go to worcestersbestchef.com right now.
Finding Neverland, the Broadway smash that NPR calls the best musical of the year.
At the Hanover Theater in Worcester, January 2nd through the 6th. Visit thehanovertheater.org.
It was one of Worcester's most watched buildings in 2018. A community group led the fight to save the former Notre Dame des Canadiens church from a developer's wrecking ball. Their efforts ultimately failed, but elements of the historic structure will live on. Anna Botari has a look back.
The site of the former Notre Dame des Canadiens church is now a vacant lot. After 89 years, the church's steeples are no longer part of Worcester's skyline.
It looks like somebody pulled out somebody's side teeth.
For months, the Save Notre Dame Alliance worked to try and save the church. The group rallied, asking city councilors for their support.
I personally want to believe that the councilors meant it when they said they would do everything they can do.
The group went as far as filing a lawsuit in Superior Court,
against property owner Hanover Insurance, who purchased the church in 2010 after it was closed by the Worcester Diocese in 2007. The lawsuit stated demolition was a violation of state regulations. Alliance member Barbara Haller said the church was listed on the state's inventory of historic and archaeological assets, and Hanover never gave the required notice with the state.
The state has regulations that say if you are taking down or doing substantially altering a building of historic importance, you have to go through the State Historic Commission.
A Worcester Superior Court judge denied a preliminary injunction, and an appeals court judge denied a final effort. When the wrecking crane started demolition of Notre Dame, spokesperson Ted Cano wished the alliance went in a different direction.
Knowing what I do now, I would probably do almost everything differently. I think we put up a good fight, but some of what we did apparently didn't work.
While the church is gone, the steeple bell was gifted to the city and will be preserved and displayed. Senior Vice President at Hanover, Ann Tripp, said in a statement, "We are very pleased to present the bell to the city on behalf of its residents, while also helping to preserve and memorialize the bell and all it represents." Tripp also says Hanover Insurance is looking forward to working with the Worcester City Manager and Worcester Diocese to create an appropriate and permanent spot for the memorial. In Worcester, I'm Anna Botari, Worcester News Tonight.
Central Massachusetts endured its share of wild weather over the last year. A series of tornadoes caused a lot of damage, and in some cases, their impact is still being felt. Our Chandler Walsh has more.
3 EF1 tornadoes hit central Massachusetts towns, all within 10 days. Residents in towns like Upton, Douglas, and Webster saw damage this summer from 100-mile winds.
The shades were blowing through the window, and you heard this noise, sound like a freight train.
All of a sudden, just a big whoosh, bang, and things started falling and cracking.
You could literally hear the doors and windows just go.
In early August, the National Weather Service confirmed a tornado hit Dudley and Webster. Boarded up windows like this one were a common sight on Main Street as business owners worked to get back to normal.
We took out immediately the whatever water was in the ceiling and the tiles and the insulation. We have a lot of cleanup to do.
The Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency said about 40 people were displaced in Webster and 2 buildings had to be taken down.
We need to figure out who needs help and what type of help they need to get into housing. But bottom line is, we're here, the community is here to support the people as long as it takes.
Elected leaders, including Elizabeth Warren and Jim McGovern, came together with town officials.
We want to make sure that Webster gets access to every single penny that might be available to them through the federal government.
We want to work with MEMA, with the state, with the Small Business Administration, with the Economic Development Administration as well, to maybe get some grants for planning and rebuilding here.
Days before Webster, 2 tornadoes left behind their own paths of destruction. One ripped through Upton, the other through Douglas, Uxbridge, and Northbridge. In Upton, trees damaged homes and cars.
We don't have a roof. The truck is absolutely totaled, and my insurance doesn't cover it, so I have no idea what I'm going to do.
One man drove home through the storm in Douglas and said he didn't expect the strong wind gust.
Coming all different way, like I said, I couldn't see anything, nothing. Just branches and trees, leaves hitting the car, and I'm surprised that none of my windows broke, actually.
Fast forward 3 months, and the last of the year's tornadoes touched down in Hubbardston. The town's fire department responded to electrical hazards, including 1 fire.
When the wire went down, it still stayed live for a significant time until National Grid came out, and it continued to burn the area of ground.
No one was hurt in any of the tornadoes, and while it may seem like a lot, the National Weather Service said the wild weather can be typical for the area.
Tornadoes actually are fairly common in southern New England in the summertime. We get about 3 per year on average.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Coming up next, Kevin Shea has a look back at some of the biggest sports moments of 2018. Stay with us.
We do 3 hours of mental health. I give everyone an opportunity to get everything off of their chest, to express themselves, get rid of all their frustration. And if you're really whacked out and off the wall, I even give you a chance to come on the air.
Accidents involving distracted driving injured over 400,000 Americans last year. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car or motorcycle accident, before you call your insurance company, call the law offices of Joseph J. Cariglia. Our attorneys have helped tens of thousands of clients receive millions of dollars in settlements for over 50 years. Don't stand alone against the big insurance companies. Call the law offices of Joseph J. Cariglia for a free consultation. We don't get paid unless you do.
Our hearts are heavy as we remember the life of firefighter Christopher Roy. Chris was an outstanding member of the Worcester Fire Department, and we miss him terribly. We are grateful for your kind words of comfort during this very difficult time. Everyone has been asking, how can we help? A fund has been established for his daughter Ava. If you're interested in donating to the Ava Roy Fund, your check can be mailed to the address at the bottom of the screen. Thank you very much.
What did I do last night? That was a work event. I told myself I wasn't going to get drunk. Am I going to lose my job?
AdCare can help. Call 1-800-ALCOHOL to begin your path to recovery.
Welcome to the Mayor's Forum. I'm Mayor Joe Petty.
With St. Bernard's, it's all blue deckers all around it.
Yeah.
You know, and you have some businesses absolutely there, but it's filled with people, the neighborhood there. You know, and when I was sent there, I says, this is going to be a great opportunity to engage people in a new way. You know, and the simple thing to do is just walk the street. Just walk up and down, get to know people. Yeah. How you doing? And engage with them in that way.
The Mayor's Forum on Charter TV3.
Hi, I'm Tim Murray. The Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce is here to work alongside you and your business by promoting economic development. We're doing this by being a strong and effective advocate for the region's businesses. At the Worcester Regional Chamber of Commerce, we believe that a strong business community is a catalyst for a dynamic area to live and work. Join me and my guests on the Chamber Exchange on Charter TV3.
Let's go!
Happy holidays, everyone. It is our year-end tradition here at Channel 3, Kevin Shea, Andy Lacombe, that at the end of the year, we wrap it all up and give you in a nice, neat and tidy story everything that happened during the year.
Yeah, and this is our present to ourselves. And we kick it off, as we do every year, with the late, great George C. Scott.
We will close this baccalaureate service, as we close all services here, by reading from the Book of Remembrance.
Former Holy Cross offensive coordinator Andy McKenzie was named the new Assumption football coach in February.
Our buddy, the legendary head coach Bill Gibbons of the women's basketball team at Holy Cross, achieving a milestone victory, 600th career victory, a special moment for everyone, especially at the Arts Center.
Speaking of milestones, St. John's basketball coach Bob Foley getting career victory number 900, the all-time winningest coach in Massachusetts high school.
Is my wife, you know, because without her, I put so much time into this and try to be good and be a good coach for these kids, and she's the one that backs me all the way. So,
Mrs. Foley's undefeated Shrewsbury hockey team winning the state title in D3 again, second straight year. Colonials are moving up, but they are outstanding.
The Clark Tournament, one of the great traditions in all of high school sports. The Maynard Tigers capturing the small school championship.
Maynard, and on the large side, the young coach and his Shepherd Hill Rams capturing the victory. History made at the Neller once again.
The Worcester Railers, in their first season on the ice, made the playoffs, falling to the Adirondack in the first round, but a very successful inaugural year on and off the ice for the Railers.
The Thunder. Another first-year franchise. The Massachusetts Pirates bringing the National Arena League to the DCU Center. Arena football's back. Nick Hague, Sean Loizo, and the boys were there. They made the playoffs. Great first year for the Pirates.
This summer, the Uxbridge U10 Cal Ripken League All-Stars made it to the World Series in Indiana.
We asked one player what was our goal. He said to go to Indiana, and we did it.
And the Burkett Senior League All-Stars winning their regionals, the East Regionals. First time ever Burkett softball team has earned the trip to the Softball World Series.
Well, I was just so hyped the entire time, just to watch it all go down and to kind of be a part of it was just amazing. I was hyped the whole time.
Former Doherty High School and Boston College star Isaac Yadam was drafted by the Denver Broncos in the second round. Another CMAS kid making it to the NFL. The Sean Mulcahy NFL tree continues. Yadam playing a lot for the Broncos.
And the Bravehearts sharing the Futures League Championship with the Martha's Vineyard Sharks because of weather. Still, it's the third title all time for Worcester.
The city had a grand and glorious celebration welcoming the Red Sox AAA affiliate to Worcester, a homecoming for Rich Gedman.
And to bring it to your hometown, it's been a long time since I call this my hometown, but it's where I grew up.
The Bob Chesney era beginning at Holy Cross. They won 4 straight to end their season, but earlier in the year, fans will remember a thrilling win over the Yale Bulldogs. A come-from-behind victory for Holy Cross. Sound up on Kevin Shea.
The kick is up, and the kick is through. Holy Cross with a walk-off win, 31-28. The Crusaders have stunned Yale. Wow, what a great call.
Never miss a moment.
Wachusett girls soccer team claimed back-to-back state championships. The Mountaineers were dominant all season long.
Hey, back-to-back, it's what Bromfield does. The boys team, the Trojans, claiming another state championship in soccer. New head coach, no problem. The Bromfields Trojans are rolling.
How about the Groton-Dunstable girls volleyball team? The Crusaders bringing home a state championship. What a memorable season for Groton-Dunstable. They make history at Worcester State University.
I was there, Kev. It was fun. You will remember this. State Super Bowl championship, BVT at Gillette, second straight year. The Beavers this time, though, claiming the state championship with a hard-fought, well-earned victory over St. Mary's of Lynn.
We've been saying this all year. We've been saying this all year that we're going to win the state championship, and here we are. It's won, it's ours. We're happy to bring it home to Upton.
I love it. Staying in Upton. The Nipmuc football team lost at Gillette in the state championship, but it was another great year for the Warriors.
Just take the picture. Neshoba and St. Bernard's both claiming state championships at Gillette. All in all, a very successful year for CMAS football.
And finally, Holy Cross Athletic Director Nathan Pine announcing he is stepping down to take the AD job at the Air Force Academy. Well, as Bob Seeger would say, those are the memories that make me a wealthy soul.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody. As the graphic says, have a great 2019.
Who did those? Bolduc?
All right, thank you guys. Well, that'll do it for this special edition of Worcester News tonight. From all of us here at the studio, Happy New Year. I'm Olivia Lemon. Thank you for watching and have a great night.
Join me on the Hank Stoltz Experience.
It is a canvas that you can actually walk into and become part of the art.
And the navigator is actually a personal navigator assigned to the member and acts as a resource for the member.
It's going to be delicious, it's going to be great chefs, it's going to be a lot of great food, craft beer, terrific wines, and a good time.
The action never stops on the Hank Stoltz Experience, only on Charter TV 3.
Finding Neverland, the Broadway smash that NPR calls the best musical of the year.
At the Hanover Theater in Worcester, January 2nd through the 6th. Visit thehanovertheater.org.
I think there's a time to serve and a time to move on.
How about doing your homework first and finding out that all of this does require, a charter change?
What he is he's sort of elitist and cultural chauvinist.
I think it's a part of urban life, and I think we just get used to it.
I actually don't really know how valuable these city councils are.
I think the state has set themselves up for a lawsuit here.
My liberalism is not in full bloom on this issue.
If you had a magic wand and you could change one thing about downtown Worcester, what would you do? I'm talking about the truth of how things really are in the city. So I guess he wants to restrict my free speech. Plenty more to talk about